Hi, everyone. My name's Sean. I'm executive editor here at the Daily Upside. We're coming to you from Future Proof in beautiful Miami Beach. And we're lucky enough to have Lauren Wilkinson join us today. She's CIO of Vanguard Financial Advisor Services. Thanks so much for being here and sharing your morning with us.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be here.
So, Vanguard obviously needs no introduction, right? They're one of the largest asset managers on earth. They have the largest, most popular ETFs, mutual funds been around I think, 50 years now. But today we're interested in how Vanguard and your team is using AI. So we've heard a lot about the note taking and the efficiency, but where are you finding the highest, impact use cases? Is it around, compliance, portfolio construction, operations? How are you finding value in AI today?
Well, I'll say that the first value that we're finding in AI is with productivity wins, daily productivity wins. Within Vanguard, we have AI chat assistants that help with just daily productivity. And when we talk to advisors, a lot of advisors are finding the same. So that's really sort of the first stage of AI adoption is quick, practical productivity wins. I would say client engagement is a really big area as well. So using AI from everything to prep for a client meeting, during the meeting to take notes so that you can stay focused on the client, and then after the meeting to help with follow-up. That's where we're seeing the most traction with AI.
Sure. So maybe if we kind of zoom out a little bit from today until the next maybe couple months or this year, what are the plans there? How do you see AI kind of reshaping, the economics of advisory practices? Really, when it starts to move away from efficiency and really kind of turn into revenue driving practices, where do you see that heading?
Yeah, so in the short term, as far as AI helping with economics, in the short term, AI is really offsetting some of the fee compression with advisors by reducing the cost to serve. And so for advisors who have embraced AI the most, they're finding that they're able to increase their advisor to client ratio without losing quality in the relationship, which is great. So really helps offset fee compression. In the medium term, advisors who are able to reinvest that cost efficiency to deepen relationships and expand relationships will see improvements in their margin as well. So by bringing in more relationships. And then the third thing I'll say is that AI is really changing the role of the advisor. So where advisors used to be very much focused on investment decisions or stock selection, now the role of the advisor, and this shift has predated AI, but it's even more so with AI, is moving upstream, more toward higher order benefits like trust, relationship building, behavioral coaching. And our Vanguard Advisors Alpha research shows that that's where advisors can have the most impact in terms of client referrals and loyalty.
Sure. Yeah, relationship business at its heart, right? It's always
Yeah.
always been. So how about for firms that are trying to be more proactive and adopt some of these AI tools, but they're struggling. Maybe it's a cultural gap, or maybe they're just finding ways to really make it useful for them. How can firms kind of try and close some of those adoption gaps?
So I do think, I'm glad you mentioned cultural, because I do think the biggest obstacle tends to be cultural. So for firms that are still struggling to adopt AI, a lot of times when I talk with them, it's because they haven't defined a North Star at the top of their firm. So the firms that are most successful have a North Star at the top in the C-suite, from the CEO on down, of how AI is going to benefit their practice. So for example, at Vanguard, we have an AI North Star. It's essentially to use AI to help investors improve their outcomes in a responsible way. So it's not an AI specific goal. It's very aligned with Vanguard's overall mission, which is to improve investor outcomes. So that's kind of step one. You got to have that message from the top. And then once you have the North Star, get all of your leaders and employees AI literate. So really invest in AI literacy and kind of think about how to activate that. How do you put the right governance processes in place, the right controls in place to activate that? So that's on the cultural side. On the infrastructure side, the biggest challenge that a lot of firms are having is just the vendor sprawl. So a lot of advice, way predating AI for the last 10 years plus, one of the biggest challenges with advisor tech is integration. There's so many different systems already at play, your CRM, your portfolio management system, your rebalancer, your trading system. How do you get all of these to talk together? And then now with AI, there's a variety of upstart new entrants into the market that have various point solutions with AI. And so as you're thinking about this, how do you make sure that any AI that you're integrating actually works seamlessly with the rest of the tech ecosystem? So that's a big concern advisors are working through.
Yeah, no, and you're right, it's been that way for a long time. Trying to cobble these tech stacks together is a real issue for advisors. But you mentioned governance, and I'm just wondering how is Vanguard specifically thinking about that, about governance and controls, especially in wealth management. That's such a fiduciary kind of industry. How are we making sure that these things are kind of have some guardrails and that kind of.
Yeah, well, it starts with our North Star, which in our North Star, it's to use AI to improve investor outcomes in a responsible way. So we put that right up there in the North Star, that we are going to use AI to improve outcomes, but only responsibly. We spend a lot of time in the industry with people who are at the forefront of this, with leading research institutions, and to talk through what are the best practices with governance, safety, transparency of the tech. So that helps. And then I would say internally, we have a very strong controls framework around AI. So anytime we're going to implement a new use case for AI, we thoroughly review that. We talk about how do we make sure it's safe, trusted, how are we controlling for concerns like bias and hallucination. And then once we approve a use case, we then, after it's been built, we carefully test it with human in the loop controls to make sure that it's actually meeting the requirements that we have.
Interesting. Well, we'll get you out of here on this one. This will be the fun one, the crystal ball. Where do you see AI kind of moving in the next, say, 5, maybe even 10 years? How do you see the industry changing? What does it mean for advisors? And what does it mean for the companies that fully get adopted now and the laggards? How can people kind of stay ahead of what's coming down if we really try and zoom out?
Yeah, so I think about the AI adoption curve with this 3A framework. So there's assist, augment, action. So where we are now with adoption is an assist. That's using AI as daily productivity assistance. Most advisors are there right now. The next phase is augment, meaning going beyond daily productivity to using AI as as insight. The advisor is still the one in control of the judgment, but having the AI help inform pretty important decisions like financial planning, portfolio construction. I would say we're starting to move into that augment phase with a lot of advisors interested in how AI can be used for portfolio construction, financial planning. And then on the horizon is action. This is where we talk about agentic AI and having agents really kind of take control or maybe not take control, but agents be able to autonomously execute tasks on behalf of advisors. So I think that's where this is going. If I think out 5 years, I think the firms that are going to be most successful will have a very clearly defined North Star at the top that uses AI as part of the vision. And I think what's important is to kind of rethink AI native processes. So not just use AI for assistance around the edges, but really think about how can AI transform the business to take out the cost, but also deepen relationships and create an even better client experience than before.
Makes a lot of sense. Well, thanks so much for being here with me. I know I learned a lot. I hope everyone did at home. Enjoy your conference, and thanks so much for being here.